The year is 2006. Sonic Team just released what was supposed to be the next generation of Sonic, and what was supposed to be the Sonic game, but, failed miserably. So Sonic Team needed a way to bounce back from that catastrophe, and boy, did they ever make the ultimate comeback. Sonic Unleashed is probably the greatest comeback in history, even more than Dak Prescott's 2021 comeback season after that ankle injury he had the year before. I'm calling this a comeback, but this game received a lot of hate. Even to this day, IGN even gave it a 4.5. Wow. F off IGN. But this video is based solely on my own personal opinion. Anyway, I remember seeing the commercials for Unleashed and being so excited. The Hedgehog level, seeing the boost for the first time. Sonic Rush doesn't count to me because I've never played it. Everything from the commercials had me so hyped. I mean, that's the whole point of an advertisement, right? Christmas of 2008 rolls around, and I received a copy of Unleashed as a gift along with the Jazzwords Hedgehog and a Season 1 of Sonic X, but that's beside the point. Also, keep in mind, I had a PS2, so let me just say, my first encounter with Unleashed was not great at all. I never finished the game because I can't really remember what level it was, but one of the Hedgehog levels had me standing on this platform with no way to proceed through the level. I think I was supposed to be waiting for a platform, but it never arrived, like it glitched out or something. I just remember standing there not knowing what to do, standing there looking stupid. So I gave up on Unleashed altogether. I was sad little dude. But then I believe the very next year, I received an Xbox 360 for my birthday and another copy of Unleashed. My experience with the game was way different than my PS2 experience with it. It was like night and day. Get it? Night, day. So now, since we're done with the history lesson, let's get into the game and the whole reason I'm making this video. Really, the first thing I like to talk about is the intro. Not only is this a cinematic masterpiece, it definitely sets a tone for the rest of the game. It does a good job at explaining, without words, who these characters are for the ones who never played it or even seen Sonic before. Jason Griffith and Mike Pollock did phenomenally well with voicing these characters, more specifically Jason Griffith. Jason was the voice of Sonic for 7 years? And this game was by far his best performance. But all in all, this intro goes fucking hard. Sonic making his grand entrance, slowly standing up with the sirens faintly going off in the distance, Sonic staring danger right in the face, destroying an entire army of robots. Good stuff. Seeing the Hedgehog for the first time was kind of jarring, but cool at the same time, and honestly, later in my teen years made me wonder how much pain he must have been going through. Dark Gaia had me so terrified, I actually remember having nightmares, no joke. So by the end of this intro, I'm already consumed with emotions, shocked, hyped, worried, and the list goes on. Now, what about the gameplay itself? As I mentioned before, the game introduced the boost mechanic. Again, Rush doesn't count to me. This game literally redefined speed. I've never seen a game move this fast in my life. So seeing and playing it for the first time felt like I was going through a trip. Now, Chip, meeting him for the first time, I was like, come on, I don't care about him. Remember I said this. Now we enter Hedgehog territory. I vaguely remember going into this not knowing how to feel because, remember, I was introduced to this game on the PS2, and that was and is nothing like the Xbox 360 version. So after playing the Hedgehog, I loved it. It was refreshing, slow, change of pace, and it was pretty fun beating up all these ugly things. It also felt good to enjoy the scenery instead of, just blasting through everything. Now, yes, after a while, it got tedious at times. Really, the only gripe I had with this game is the Sun and Moon medals. They could have shown a little mercy with them. It just got irritating that I'm being told something like, can't proceed, requires 5 more medals. Like, seriously? I just spent almost 10 minutes in that stage and couldn't find them. So here I was going through every other stage over again. But in the end, it was actually good practice because it helped me learn the layout in most of the stages. And so it was easier to go back on my own time and beat my best time. I put tons and tons of hours into this game. Moments in this game that kind of hit hard for me was seeing the friendship between Sonic and Chip grow stronger, and also made my opinion on Chip change. I started to like this little dude. His true identity being revealed was a crazy moment as well. Turns out he's the light Gaia to this dark Gaia, and that he's been awakened too early and whatnot. He even tried leaving, and Sonic basically says, nah bro, we got this together. At this point, I said, oh yeah, I love this dude. I'm literally like 9 or 10 years old and legit shedding a tear, all like, yes, let's effing go. So finally, after the moon medal bullshit, I got to the battle versus Dark Gaia, and ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, I was already burnt out by this time from fighting the Egg Dragoon. Took every last bit of willpower I had. I will never forget this feeling and seeing this thing change into perfect Dark Guy for the first time. Remember, I never got this far in the PS2 version, so it was new to me. I remember being so scared, I literally turned the game off and sat there looking like I just saw a ghost. But I grew some balls and got back into that shit. I was scared, excited, my heart was beating a million times per second. It was time to lock TF in. Playing as a guy, Colossus is hated by many, but I loved it. The only reason I loved it is because I knew that I was going to have to run as fast as the game would allow me, all while Chip is screaming at me. That's definitely getting you looking like this and shit. The supersonic transformation was raw. Raw. The part where you got to press the right button to knock Dark Guy's grip off a Chip. The whole boss battle is god tier. Witnessing supersonic ram through the skull of Dark Guy like a speeding bullet to the head and realizing, you did it. You did it, I did it. I remember setting the controller down slowly and just leaning my head back on the chair and releasing a big, built-up sigh of relief. If you've never played the game and never experienced it for yourself, you would think that I just held the controller up in the air like Jeff Lurie did the Vince Lombardi trophy, which, by the way, ew. But no, I had no energy to do so. I feel like Sonic did whenever he couldn't even hold up a thumbs up. In a good way, of course. Seeing Chip die made me cry despite the fact of being worn out. Little did I know, he was just going back to sleep for the next million of years. As a child, I didn't know any better. That made it look like he died. So now here we are, the final cutscene before the credits. Seeing Chip vanish, leaving behind the bracelet for Sonic gave me chills. It made me start to tear up again. After aggressively wiping them away from earlier, him saying, "I'll never forget you," made my heart hurt and happy at the same time. Then he started running into the distance while Endless Possibilities started playing. I actually remember clapping uncontrollably while crying, and here comes my mom busting in my room like, "What the hell are you doing?" I enjoyed it so much. I sat through the entire credits, vibing to the music and reminiscing all the adventures we had. I felt I had the crying under control, and the Sonic team decided to end it with a picture of Chip. Oh, hello, chills and tears. It was without a doubt the greatest experience I ever had. So in conclusion, Sonic Unleashed gets a lot of unnecessary hate, and it's definitely an emotional roller coaster. I think that's what I like most about it, even more than the gameplay. I mentioned this game being my favorite game in past videos multiple times, and now you know why. Sonic Unleashed is GOATed. So with all this being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. Y'all have a great night, stay safe and be great, and we are officially out.